Hi, this is Christophe Clement. Welcome again. We will look at the child's book example today, which is also a fairly cool template, and it's featuring a lot of interesting buyer configuration options. So once opening this template in the buyer side here, we actually have 4 pages. So that's not a complete child book. It's more like an example how it could be. And it has, as we see here, text that flows around some shape. The text is highly personalized. We got the kit itself, and the kit itself, it's configurable by the buyer. So when we change the color here from the girlish to the boyish color, please excuse this simplification, and change the name. We can also change the skin color, the hairstyle, and the color of the linen and bedding here. When I go to the second page, I see that this has changed as well, and the text has changed as well also. So that is now Kareem shakes his dark brown head. That it's depending definitely on the hairstyle we are picking. That's what reflects here in the text. So in that tutorial, I would like to have a deeper look in the template and how it's built and what mechanisms and features are used to achieve that. So when looking at the admin side, we see that this template has 2 documents, the book and the hair, which is one subdocument, which we will look at, because how is this configuration linked up to that design? As we remember, we got the form fields here. They're all template-based form fields, so we don't have a form field on the document book itself. It's all on the template base. And we do see the nice look of these form fields, which is basically achieved by a very simple configuration. We got the images here, and we selected the user interface image list, which make that much easier and much nicer for the user to access, especially on mobile. Like, looks just awesome, and it's so simple to use. And so let's start with the girl and boy selector, which is actually having the main value, which is the color applied to the clothes here. And we got a label, which is girl. We got an information here, which we will use as well. And we got the image, which is actually displayed over here. So that field, that form field, is influencing the color of the clothings, and also determines some text which is used in the text on the second page. But first, for the closing. So how is this lookup working? Actually, what we could do is we could just take every element of the document and assign a color to it, which makes later on the maintenance of such a complex template with multiple pages quite cumbersome. This is why Printess offers you styles. So styles mean that a range of element can have the same properties. So in the small menu here in the settings menu, you can choose show styles, and then you will see all the styles used here. So let's click, for example, on that frame, which is actually the pyjama, and it's actually a grouped frame consisting of multiple frames, like the body, the right arm, and the image, which is basically the dotted shape here in the middle. A lot of these elements in that child book are built by using the shape function of Printess. So for example, when I go to the leg here, I can go to edit parts and actually see that this is drawn even here. That's not necessarily, you can also do that, of course, with imported images, but it also is quite handy, and it makes the document really easy to edit later on. So we got this pyjama here, and we see that all these elements have assigned the pyjama style. So this is what we see when we go to the main frame options, and we see the style here. That's the pyjama style. All the styles are available in the list, which is not so much, and we will look on all of them. So what is the style doing? Going to the style tabs shows us these kind of, everybody have seen CSS before, will be quite familiar with the syntax, and we have quite a nice documentation about how to write the styles. So, and they're fairly simple. So let's have a look at the pajama style. It actually sets the fill color to a value, and the value is the form field, which is called pajama, which we can recall is just this form field here, which has two options, pink and bluish, and the appropriate colors associated to that. Let me take a new shape here, a circle, and just assign this circle to the style of the pajama. It automatically adopts the color because, again, this style pajama is setting the fill color to the form field pajama. So whenever I apply the style to any element, it will adopt that color. So even in the buyer side, it now works because I can toggle that color and it will apply here. Again, that's fairly handy for complex documents and makes it easy, especially when you look at the second page where we're using the same color. So let me turn on the styles again. It's again the pajama style, which automatically toggles when the form field changes. This is basically how also the hair color and the skin color is set via the styles. But the hair has also something special to offer. Because we have different hairstyles, we had made an embedded subdocument here, which is actually having a range of pages. And this pages has the different hairstyles on it and also name the hairstyle as page names. So that means, again, they are built as simple shapes here, which we can modify, and they are used in the book document. So let me just place another hair here on that document. So that's our hair here let's put it there. So whenever we are changing now the color, the hair color, it automatically adapts because in the subdocument, this hair has the style hair and it actually uses the hair color from the form field. So that's why also the new hair is automatically adopting. And not only that, when we go to hair and change the hair color, basically all hair which appears in that child's book will change. The second question is, how do we select the hairstyle? And that's very simple because this subdocument here exposes the page names. And so when we go there, we actually can choose the hairstyle. And it's independent from the hairstyle here. That's because we have not assigned a style to that right now. Because the same story applies here. When we go and assign the hairstyle, it automatically syncs up with the hairstyle selected by the user. So now selecting the hairstyle changed both kinds of hairs. And that's because the hairstyle is actually has the same values like the page names in our hair document, and it also features also some nice images here to make it nicer to select. And the style basically says that the spread name, which is actually the property to select the page from a subdocument, is linked up to the form hairstyle. So that's all it takes. And all these here, basically 5 lines, are the complete logic for that fairly complex child book. One last thing to mention is the multi-line text on this side. It flows quite nicely around the elements, and I think we got an invisible element somewhere here, which is actually we can set to color, so we better see it. And this element is actually defining here where the text flows. The text itself, it has used form fields in the text. So one thing is that we can use JavaScript expressions here. So if we want to make the name uppercase, we can simply write to uppercase. When we look at this info.pajama here, this is the form field we looked at first. And this is where I choose between the pink and the blue dress here. And also, this form field has multiple columns. So it has a value, a label, and an info. I can simply use the info instead of the value and put this to the text by writing just $info.pajama instead of form.pajama. And the same occurs with label.haircolor, label.hairstyle. So let's have a look at this ones. In the hairstyle, we have a label. So the label defines how this actually influences the text here. The hair, hat, the tiny curls, the long hair, which is not 100% what the page names are, but it fits better to the text. The same story is again with hair color, because the hair color, when we look on this again, shows you that there is an actual color value which is applied in the document, but the label is used to name the color in the text. The last personalized parts in the child book are the text. So we got the name of the child here, we got it here, and of course we have applied some nice filter like the muck over here, which makes it adjust to the object, and we got the name here. Let me delete the hair. Again, this could be text frames, which are basically could have text in here, which is right now locked because it's controlled by a style, and I will talk about this. And the same occurs here, so even that is locked. So we could have the variable, the form field, which is basically a very simple form field name. So the simplest of all, it's just a text box and it has a form field name and it has a label for the UI. And when the user types something in, it actually changed the name, as we have already seen. But we're linking it up not by using the variable in the text, which we could, but then we would have actually to do that on multiple occurrences, and to be consistent here, we're using a style. In that case, we're using the text property and just linking the text property up to the form name. The Printess also features, when writing the styles, really some nice IntelliSense here, so we see all the properties, which is, by the way, one of the most amazing features, because every single property which is available in the entire system can be controlled by style. So there is no limit. Whatever you need to achieve, you will find a way to make a form field, let the user select some option and react on this option, and actually change every property you could ever imagine. So in that case, it's text, and we go just for form.name, and that's it. And now this text frames are automatically adopting to the name. So thanks very much for listening, and I hope you had some fun and see some interesting insights, and I hope you feel encouraged to take this document to your own account and start playing around with it. Thank you.